I'm sorry, people. Ah, my Wi-Fi connection was just lost like that. But yeah, we just gonna continue what we're going to do in here. I mean, like what you could do with Cloud Studio. I want to learn this though.
TV. Bluetooth. Connected.
I know because of finding the idea and ranking its survival. From skeptics in the comments will probably tell you, hey, AI is dumb, or that like just a pizza game. The UI doesn't error. It automatically suggests a pivot, like or a pit roll. Formatted.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Weeks out the days because you can just try out like AI just admit into node graphs and other less coding tools to occasion here. Because of the code required. So I personally have found it next to the direct over particular piece of your game. So what is the bug? Show me that it's more things spawn until you lose the deck. The reason we can do that is you carefully say, hey, I'd like my game to work this way, these are the main elements of it. Can you make a plan for me of how we would do that? And people also break
This is crazy though.
I'm in the first one. So I have it set up to where the enemies are fluffy. That's what like the rules that don't be fluffy. Yeah. It's like and pasted something for myself. So I added
Hey, that's me. What the fuck? Wait, there is me in here. Okay. Yeah, that's me. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, let's continue building. It, I guess, because yeah, why not? Yeah, this is the script. Where the script start in here, and maybe we could delete here, delete that. Currency goes false. So, damn. So you gotta make it inside the script in here. I'm gonna ask my chat GPT again. seconds. Then what? So the coin zone was outside. Yes. Oh, so the code cannot touch. Code can touch is 0. False. True, and then this is the last one, right? But in here we gotta say that what our coin zone equals to game dot workspace space dot coin zone, and then we got in here called coin. Why we gotta start the coin zone inside here? Why? I don't understood. Random x is equal to math dot random equals to coin zone dot position dot x equals to coin zone dot position dot x position dot x 2, right? Coin zone position dot size dot x equals to coin zone dot size dot x equals to what is the mean? Oh, coin zone dot x position coin zone dot size of x equals to content dot size dot x divided by 2 comma coin zone dot position equals to coin zone dot negative positive size x equals to 2. Local we do under other stuff. Random y equals to maths dot random coin zone dot position dot y negative coin zone dot size dot y 2 coin zone dot position dot y positive coinzone dot size dot y divided by 2. Divided by 2. And the last one is local random z equals to net dot random coinzone dot position dot z negative coinzone dot size dot z divided by 2, and then we make the coinzone dot position dot z plus coinzone dot size dot z divided by 2, and then we make the gold position, position equals to vector 3 dot new is random x random y random z, and then we make the gold dot transparency equals to 0 and gold dot and touch equals to true, and the collect equals to false. It's working, right? Okay, it's spawned in here. Bling. 1, 2, 3. What? It's just gone. Oh, I think I see the problem. I see the problem here. You don't need a z. You don't need z position here. See, like this. It just appeared in the same place. Why? Not this one. I don't understand this one though. But it just appeared in the same place. Why? Okay, it's not. Damn, it's working. So what if I put a lot of things inside of here, inside the coins, like V, and we make the coins in here, put it in here, and we make the coins more like Ctrl V, then we make it again in here, and let's see what happened. What the fuck? Huh. Maybe we gotta need some tax spawn in here. right? Wait. How can I make the random things in here?
False. My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything.
So that's the power of using task.spawn to be able to
No. How? I gotta do this later, right? I guess after this. How about that? No. So the problem in here is the coins is not random when I enter the game this time. Let's stay where it's should be. It will be random if I collect it first. Fix it. What if I just paste this code in here and see what it does do? I guess. Huh? It not looping, bruh. Oh my god, I'm so confused. Into add sounds maybe in here. Okay, we're gonna start with some plugins, audio collect. Now you gotta put it in sound service and okay, gonna make the sound is again space game.sound service dot coin. Then we put it in after the end touch. Oh, it makes the function. Oh, they make their own function. Okay, and it's inside the gold. No, the randomness coins of gold will be appears if you put it in gold. Okay, just send bro, the things that I love about AI is how they could make all of this just in a second. Just in a second. Like I said, in a second. Not 2 seconds, not 3 seconds, in a second. And yeah, I don't want to exploit just like that, because if I don't know the basic of it, and I don't know how to how how the code works, yeah, I will be so fucked up, because I will never be a good developer, a full stack developer, and doesn't know the code, what code that I'm writing, yeah, something like that. Yeah. But at the end, I will make a games with the AI, of course, because yeah, I think that's the best way you to make an adaptation, or you against all the developer that's using AI too. So yeah, I don't see any problem of AI. I love it. But yeah, you gotta understand the code. You gotta know how the code works until when you make something with AI and you understood the code that you're writing, you will be a good developer or the best developer ever in Roblox. For me, something like that. I wanna write this code. I wanna write this code all by my own. Maybe after this, because I'm using AI for doing this. Yeah, I know it's kinda lame. I don't know the code works because yeah, like I said before, it's bugging. Something is bugging like that. I don't know why. Still cool though. Yeah. 100. Yes. You know what? I gotta keep continue learning all this stuff because yeah,
Primarily,
I gotta make another place again because yeah, this is for AI. Yeah. So I know how to the only things that I know it's only this and how the gold works. Yeah, because wait, I want to try like so it's outside though. Wait a minute, okay people, I'm trying to do something real quick in here because wait, copy this, randomize in here and paste this. And what happened if I just delete this function? Will it be works just like the same as okay, it works. You don't need to function this. Oh, this one. Oh. Okay. I'm sorry. So I see the problem in here. So you gotta make a second one in here and do it in here, I guess. And yeah, we gotta see the same thing in here. It will appear again. It's in a different place, a random place. Okay, it should be work if I using a server and clients. We do it too, and yeah, let's run this. And that's the let's run this, people. Let's run this. Okay, this is player 2. I'm using player 2 right now. And this is player 1. Yes, it's working. Yes. Not gonna lie, this is kind of hard to make. Yeah. The collecting coin method is kind of hard to make. But it's working though. And we are talking about this and opening up a second player. You can collect this. It's randomize again, right? It still appear in the same place. Okay, it still appear in the same place. I don't know why. Huh. Wait a minute, people. I think I see the problem. I see some problem in here. And let's see if I put this. true, blah blah blah, correct equals to false, and delete this. It doesn't randomize the position again. Why? I don't know what happened. I'm trying to do this again. Let's see. Okay, it's appear random. But if I do this, yeah, if I put this in here, oh my god, I'm sorry, in here, and inside here, I don't know what happened, but it doesn't works. It's bugging. Okay. Oh, it's random. It works. Okay then. It appears in here. Over here. This again. Okay, it's working though. But what happened? What happened later? Oh! Alright. Why? I. Oh. Okay, people. Oh my god, it's already Maghrib. Okay then. A lot of piece of words in here. Oh,
Studying in Australia's Northern Territory is like nowhere else.
This is how I would learn to for a version C from a full-time job now, but it's essentially programming language, which is really intensive. With libraries that you've never heard of before, and honestly, which bring and you'll print the solution. And coding is just writing code to solve computer science problems. Let's call them math problems to show the distinction. Solve C, JavaScript, like variables, functions, loops.
Let's learn how to code today. The resources, and you somehow ended up here. Teach you the areas that you should be working hard on so you don't waste time. Learning to code is not about programming languages. It's about developing a mindset for problem solving and continuous learning. This is what separates the beginners from the professionals. The professionals know how to solve their own problems and learn new concepts pretty quickly, so it's crucial that you understand how to learn. But sloth, is it really that important, especially for coding? Yes, it is. Let me explain why. Number one, rapidly changing technology. The tech world is always evolving. New languages, tools, frameworks, they're popping up all the time. If you know how to learn effectively, you can keep up with these changes without getting just into manageable pieces and find innovative solutions. 3. Adaptability. This skill is gold in the coding world. When you're comfortable with learning, you adapt better to new challenges, you're more willing to step out of your comfort zone and tackle unfamiliar tasks. 4. Independent learning. You won't always have someone to hold your hand through every coding challenge. Being a self-sufficient learner empowers you to find solutions on your own, making you a more competent and confident coder. 5. Efficient learning. Time is precious, right? You want to learn to code as fast as possible. Well, by learning how to learn, you can tailor your coding education to be more effective, or instead of taking 5 hours learning a concept, you'd only need to spend an hour. Here's some examples to give you an idea. You can use diagrams to plan a simple coding project, then jump in and start building. And finally, ask people for tips on how to improve it. The key is to discover what works best for you and use it to make your learning as smooth and enjoyable as possible. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all in learning, especially in something as diverse as coding. While I can't directly help you find your unique learning style, I can definitely guide you with general tips throughout the video to speed up your progress in coding. And now for the big question, where do I start? Coding is a vast jungle, but don't worry, I'll give you a map to guide you on the right path. But by the video game, okay, that might have been too fast. Let's slow it down and start with 2 questions. What do you want? Remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's all about what excites you and what keeps you up at night. This is what's going to motivate you. Do you want to bring a unique app idea to life? Resources. If you're career focused, you might lean towards areas that are easier to get a job in. If it's a hobby, you have more freedom to explore certain areas. Now that we've got your what and why, does exist popular languages. Let me explain what you should research based on your interests. If you want to build websites or web applications, start with HTML, CSS, learning React Native or Flutter, and Unreal. He uses starting statistics. This area is not just about coding. Be prepared to learn a lot about math, especially statistics, calculus, and algebra. Python is the most common language in this field for its simplicity and the powerful libraries like TensorFlow, PyTorch, Scikit-learn, and a lot of other libraries that support machine learning operations when it comes to coding. So I strongly suggest you check out this video here.
S. It starts again.
Hello guys and welcome to loading. So pop it, that works. This
What about the scripting?
click on model again, remove this print, and basically this is very simple, but you're going to be seeing that you have three numbers here. I'm going to basically show you what each three of these numbers do when they're changed. Sure that the model is anchored, and make sure that when you select it all, it is all anchored. So that was pretty much it for the video. It's a pretty simple one again. If y'all enjoy three, I'm gonna remove this print. I will go into it. This is very simple, but you're gonna be seeing that you have three numbers here. I'm gonna basically show you what each three of these numbers do when they're changed.
Let me call this one car. It's so ass, but I don't care though. Oh. Yeah, this is my car. Yeah, this is the car that I want to make, and it will be spinning around the place with a C-frame. Okay, let's just start this with red. But up here is black. Okay, it's on the black, but the wheel should be black and black. I want to make this rotated. I want to make this model rotate. How? I'm gonna use a C-frame here to make the wheels rotate. And yeah, it will be go from here to where, I don't know. But the first one, let me just make the script of these models. Let's just say this is a local var equals create root parent. It just enter the position. We just gonna make like a moving object, right? It's using C-frame. C-frame dot rotation while do to you are using while do well. Like we're gonna wanna run it on the y-axis. Wrong! Broom! Go! Huh? The fuck? Whoa! Yo! The model center of point. Look at that shit. Maybe another part in here. Oh, maybe this. Oh, maybe this. I could say this. From this to this, like this, and this. Holy shit! Let's make this anchored and let's try again. Huh? Oh my god! Oh my god! It's new again! I'm so confused, bro. Oh god. Okay, this is my first card. Oh my god, there is a lot of library in here. I don't want to mess around. that stuff because it's too complex for me. Still too complex, bro. Just disconnected. Yes. It's just for a function, right? Cancel this and this. Shift to run. All player humanoid. Okay. Shift. Damn. Let me see this one. And then how to use it? I'm so tired, bro. I don't know why. Let me choose the base plate first, okay? What about green? It should be right.
Edition. Bit. Apaan tiba-tiba Ultimate Edition? Vintage Vice City Pack, pre-order to get unique benefit dan flashback to Neon Bird Brightness. Ya, Ultimate Edition Leonida, bla 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 bla. Oh, ada cover artnya. Dapat Ferrari. Cita ya, Cita tuh Ferrarinya di ini ya, Ferrarinya gitu. Oke, terus walaupun debit sih, mesti ada Ultimate Edition kita. Rockstar nggak ada nih, tapi udahlah. Jason Safe House, oh, Jason Safe House Vehicles, dapat ininya nih, mobil-mobilnya. Terus bisa kaya berarti benar kemarin ini kita ya di screenshot soalnya mau review pro, ada Granado Retro Build bla bla bla. Terus bajunya Saras Unisex Salons. Ini model styles sama apa namanya facial hair. Rambut banin bisa pakai tatonya macem-macem, nggak ada sayang gitu kan. Oke, terus tapi kita versi kalau ya kan vehicle and garage outfit and style sip. Oh, 5 speed. Wah, oke, kita bahas di live yuk.
Do you know the trend that goes like bam, 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 and then it suddenly goes like that? Well, usually that trend right there. When you shake the screen like this. So when they do that. So one thing is, if you want to make a smooth transition, you cannot shake your screen. You just have to be calm, like this. So now I'm gonna show you a tutorial how to do the spin.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm gonna put my tape here. So first you're gonna do like this, like this, but stop recording when it hits like this, not this, this, and then but you have to do it faster. Like stop recording when it's like this. Okay. Then you gotta, when you pause, don't move. Put it on the same spot position, and tilt it a little bit back, and then boom. Easy. Do not move your phone or camera at all. Do not shake it. Do not tilt it. Do not do anything, and then you will be the master. Yeah. Do you know the trend that goes like, and then it suddenly goes like that? Well, usually that trend.
Well, usually.
Do you know like that? Well, usually that trend. They want to transition. They usually shake the screen like this. So when they do this like this.
Damn, this guy is so cool though. Indonesia.
Hey guys.
Okay. Well, usually that trend. It's so funny. Whoa! Okay.
Work with multiple loops at the same. Hey, thanks for stopping by.
we're going to be creating a bunch of stuff that correlates to server and client communication so that we can create systems that allows us to have more security with our Roblox games and also more robust systems with the things that we decide to create inside of our Roblox games. And in this episode, I'm going to be introducing two of them, which are called remote events and remote functions. And with them, we're able to create things like this. So I'm going to click says, would you like to buy this button? And I have a button down here that we can press called buy button, and this costs 50 coins. And up here, you can see in my leader stats, we have 50 coins to be able to buy this. So let's see what happens when I actually press it. So essentially, when I press this button, it communicated to the server to check whether I had 50 coins or not. And if it did, then it would subtract 50 coins from my leader stats, and it would tell us the message that the purchase has been successful by updating this text label. If we press it again, now that we can't afford it, it will check again, but this time we can't afford it. So the server will tell the client that the purchase has failed. I want you to understand what goes on behind the scenes when we're communicating with the server client and why this matters a lot when we're dealing with security and exploitation and all those other sorts of things. But before we start implementing, let me show you something else. All right, let's think about this for a minute. So if you saw one of my previous episodes, you might find this diagram to be familiar. And yes, this is the server and client model found on the Roblox Developer Hub. That's because in this episode, I feel like this really ties back into what we're going to be doing inside of this episode. So if you remember, the game consists of two sides. You have the server and the client. The server up here is basically the perspective of the game that has access to everything inside of the server and also in the client. But if you're one of these clients attached to the server, also known as the players, so we have player 1 down here, and then we have player 2, and then player 3, all within their own perspectives of the game, do not have access to whatever information is in the server. The server is the powerhouse of all its valuable information that the client cannot simply access just freely. That's why there has to be communication between the server and the client, whether that would be from this player, so player 1. If it wanted to send information to the server, then we will use a remote event to tell the server we want it to do something, and it'll do it for us. Or if we have information to a specific player from the server, we will go from the server and we will send information to a specific player, like let's say player 2, to tell them that they got a notification or something. Or if we're playing a round-based game, then we will have the server replicate to all the players inside of the game that if this is a round-based game, that the game is over, and it's going to reset everything to wait for the next game to happen. So there's so many use cases where we would have to communicate with the client and the server to get stuff done, to make our systems robust, to make it very secure from hackers. Because that's one of the main important things we need to know about here is that even if it's not for security, there's a lot of things you can't do unless you know how to communicate with the server and client. So that's why it's very important to understand how this stuff works, when to use it, and why you should use them. And I hope this gave you a little more insight as to what we're going to be doing in this episode. Now that we understand it, let's make some stuff that effectively communicates between the server and client. So first thing we will do is create a leader stats script to give ourselves some coins. So we're going to go to the server script service, and we're going to make a script, and we're going to rename the script to leader stats. I'm not going to write all this out. I'll just quickly copy and paste code that I've already had from a previous episode. Yeah, so just to save us a bit of time, I quickly created a player added event where we created a leader stats folder and we created a coins int value with a default value of 50 so that we have some points to work with. But we're going to basically, what we're going to do first is create a remote event and how we can communicate from the client to the server. We're basically going to create a button here that says give currency. And when the player presses that button, it's going to send a message to the server to give our player currency. And I mentioned that this is going to be a remote event. So you might ask, where do we create this remote event? For the most part, I would say create it inside of replicated storage. I'd say this is the best place to access information that we want to know about from the server and also the client. Because as you know, there are specific folders inside of the game that can only be accessed by either the server or the client. For instance, server script service and server storage, these can only be accessed on the server. But things like starter GUI, starter pack, starter player, these things can be accessed on the client. But we want a folder that can be accessed from both the server and the client, which is usually replicated storage and replicated first. But we're going to put it inside of replicated storage. So we're going to hit the plus sign, and let's insert a remote event. This is what it should look like. And let's rename this remote event to give currency. So this is what we're going to use to tell the server that we want to give the player currency whenever we press a button. Now let's actually create the button. So let's go to Start GUI, hit the plus sign. We're going to create a screen GUI. We're going to then hit the plus sign here and create a text button. So here's our text button. Let's just drag this alongside here. So let's change the text scale to true, and we'll name this text give currency. And now let's create a local script inside of the screen GUI. So we'll make a local script. Let's first make reference to the screen GUI, which is going to be local GUI equals script.parent. And then we'll first make reference to the text button. But let's actually rename this text button to give currency. So local give button equals GUI.give currency. And finally, we'll make reference to our give currency remote event, which is located inside of replicated storage. So down here, we're going to say local give currency equals game.replicated storage. It's inside of our replicated storage folder dot give currency. So now that we have our references, let's create the mouse button one click event when we press the button. So we'll say give button dot mouse button one click connect function, and then drop a line down here. We want to fire the event so that when we go back to the server, we can catch that event when it's being activated. And the way we activate this event is by saying give currency, which is our remote event, fire server. So when we're going to fire this remote event to the server, and we're going to have the server take this function call, which I will show you in a little bit. There are multiple arguments we can put in here, but just for right now, we're going to leave this empty. So now let's catch this inside of the server. We're going to copy this reference right here. So we're going to highlight this copy, and we're going to go to our leader stats script. So down here, let's drop 2 lines, and let's just Control V to paste our copy code.
Ini adalah kamu dan kamu ingin menaklukkan dunia Albi.
And now what we'll do is we will catch this fire. We'll say give currency, and it's going to be dot on server event connect function. And here's what's really important about this. So whenever we call fire server, we don't pass anything here, but indirectly, it's automatically going to pass in the player object that called this event. So it's going to be our player in the game that called this event when we press the button. So we're going to pass in the player argument, and this is required. You have to have the first argument be the player. And anything after that is basically just going to be whatever arguments we put inside of our function call. But for right now, it's just going to be player. So now that we understand that, let's locate our coins ink value inside of our leader stats. So we're going to say local leader stats equals player dot leader stats. And then we will make reference to the coins. We will say local coins equals leader stats dot coins. Now let's add coins to the int value. So we'll say coins dot value plus equals, let's just say 50. All right, so essentially what we've done is that we created a text button that says give currency. When we press it, it's going to send a message to the server, and it's going to catch it onto the server that we want to give the player that called this remote event to give them 50 coins. And I will explain to you why this is important. Let's test this out first. So we're going to go to the game, hit test and deploy, and see the new button that we just created. Alright, so I've spawned into the game. Our coins by default is 50. But if I press give currency, then it should effectively give 100 coins to the player. So if we keep pressing it, then we should constantly be getting 50 coins every time we press the button. So that should be working as expected. But now you might ask, why do we need this server and client communication when we're, let's say, giving currency to a player? So in order for me to explain that, let me go back into the game. And like I mentioned with the server and client model, you can go between the server and client window by going to test and then hitting this button here by telling you whether you're on the server side or if you're on the client side. Right now I'm on the server side, but if I press it again, I'm back to the client side. So let's see what our coins value actually looks like when we're on both sides of the game. So we're going to go to players, brawl battle, leader stats, coins. So as you can see, my coins in value is 50, like expected. Let's see what happens if I change the value in the client. So if I just change this value to 200, then it'll show that my coins have been updated to 200, and my coins in value has also been updated to 200. But what's the problem here? It looks like it's working as expected. If we go into the server side, so if I click our server window, and we do the same thing where we go to players, we go to brawl battle, the leader stats and coins, we can see that our value is still 50 despite us changing the value inside of our local client. This is why I must reiterate that communication between the server and client is very important, because what you see inside of the client is not going to be replicated to the server for all the other players. It's not going to be the same thing. So if I had a shop system, this actually is not 200 coins, but in reality, the game says that my player has 50 coins instead of 200. That's why when we're updating, or in this case, giving currency, we need to tell the server to give us 50 coins, not the client. That's why we have to do this whole server and client model with creating a remote event, firing the server, and then making the server catch this event to then update our coins value. Because we could have just simply done this inside of our local script, but this wouldn't have actually given the player the coins that we want to give the player. This would have made us think in the client that we gave ourselves coins, but in reality, the game says we did not do anything. Because this is very easily exploitable for any hacker or exploiter inside of a Roblox game to give themselves a huge, ridiculous amount of coins inside of the game so that they can buy everything inside of the game. That's why we rely on the server to do all this for us. So I hope this gives you a better explanation and a better understanding of why we do these things. Alright, so I mentioned extra arguments or parameters being a thing for our remote events, and that's what I'm going to show you really quickly. So when we have a remote event, it doesn't matter how many arguments we throw into here, because we can have as many as we want. This is usually to pass in information to the server using this remote event if we wanted to do anything specific. It gives us more power to be able to say exactly what we want to do with arguments that we pass in to this event call. So in this case, we have give currency, which gives us a fixed amount of coins every single time we press the button. But what if we wanted to specify it on the client? We would do that by creating parameters and passing in arguments to our function calls. So we're going to create another parameter here after player by putting in a comma. And this is going to be the coins amount. And we're going to take this coins amount and we're going to replace it with our fixed 50 currency that's over here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our local script, and inside of this fire server, remember that player is implicitly passed into our function calls. So we actually don't need to pass in player, but rather we're going to pass in our coins amount. So in this case, it's going to be 50. So what's going to happen here is that when we call fire server, we're going to pass in our coins amount. And over here, it's going to implicitly pass in the player argument and then our coins amount. So it's very important to understand that we're not passing in player first. This is actually our second argument, which is our coins amount. But over here, we're going to pass in player first thing, and then all the arguments afterwards that we provided inside of these parameters. So if we go back and test it, it should essentially do the exact same thing. So if we press it, then it should do what we needed to do. So that works out wonders. And like I mentioned, you can have as many arguments as you want. As long as you have this player parameter, you can have as many arguments as you want to. You can pass in as much information and the script will not complain about it. So what we just did was we communicated from the client to the server. But now what if we wanted to do it the other way around? What if we wanted to communicate from the server to the client? Like for instance, if the player has joined the game, then we will tell the server to send a message to the client to give them like a special greeting through text or something. So that's what we're going to do with this example. This can also be done by using a remote event. So for this example, we're going to create another remote event. So like I said, it's going to be inside of replicated storage because that's the folder I recommend putting all your remote events in. So we'll hit the plus sign and we're going to create another remote event and we're going to rename this greet player. And let's go back to our leader stats script. So in our leader stats script, let's make room for our reference to the greet player remote event. So we'll say local greet player equals game.replicated storage dot greet player. And now what we'll do is we'll drop 2 lines after we create coins leader stat saying greet player. And you remember how we communicated from the client to the server. So we took the remote event and we called fire server. But this time what we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite. We're going to say fire client. So it basically does the opposite of fire server. It just says fire client. But here's the very important thing. We are required, much like our on server event, we're required to pass in the specific player we want to send this message to. So in this case, it's going to be our player, which we labeled right here in our player variable. So we're just going to simply pass in player. So this is the basic syntax for our Fire client event. Like I mentioned before, you can pass in other parameters if you really want to, but that is totally optional. What is required is specifying which player we're trying to send this message to. And like with our on-server events inside the game, we'll catch this call onto the client instead. So in our local script, we're actually going to copy our greet player reference. Is instead of look like, and it's going to look like this. We're going to say enter. Now you might notice we're not copy our
in the local script it calls on server event, ini on calling event.
Now you might notice we're not required to pass in a player argument because we already know which player we're trying to send a message to. The different parameters, what is required, what's not required. But as long as you understand it, I think it'll make sense. So in this case, let's actually pass in an argument. We're going to create one argument here that's basically going to be the message. So we'll set call. And we're going to, that's going to be our message that we're going to pass into the client. And so it's going to be passed into here. So now we'll play. So let's click the plus sign, read it, and send it to our greetings text label by dropping a line, and we'll say local greeting label equals GUI.greeting. And now what we'll do here is we're going to say greeting label dot text equals message. All right, so now this should work. As soon as we join the game, then this text label should be updated to the message that player, because when the player and we gave it hello with exclamation name to create a customized message. And the way combining strings work is by putting in the two dots here and pass it, and then the player's name, which in this case is brawler. Like a customized message for each individual player whenever they join the game, called Fire All Clients. And this is useful if we single player round-based Roblox games where it's like if we had let's say a status bar or about updates for every single player. So that's similar to what we're going to do with Fire Player. If you do global for the server Firestall the clients, we're going to make this announcement labeled. So now let's create another remote event over here in replicated storage. So let's just create a remote event. Let's rename this to announcement. That's what we're going to call it.
I'm so tired.
For announcement, give announcement will be sent to all the players that are inside with don't need every single.
I gotta pray, guys, because yeah, it's Maghrib. Maybe after this I will try to make something again after this. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, see you guys in the night, maybe 8 p.m.